You're listening to the Secure Dad Podcast. Discover ways to protect yourself and your family at home, in public, and online. Welcome, friend. I'm Andy Murphy, the creator of the Secure Dad. This podcast serves to help people become proactive in their safety. The information I share on this podcast is for general information purposes only. My goal is to empower you to make safer decisions for yourself and your family, because our safety is our own responsibility. Today we're going to be talking about job search scams. I'll tell you how they work and what you need to know to keep yourself from being conned. Even if you're not looking for a new job right now, you may know somebody who is, so you can share what you learned today with them. All of that and more ahead on the Secure Dad Podcast. You've heard me talk about the dangers of AI scams and deepfakes. Scammers can use real data, then using AI learning, manipulate it into new fake messages. What makes these scams so believable is that they have some element of real information, and scammers can use your real private data to make a very convincing trap. How do they get your information? They buy it from data brokers that sell your data, like your name, address, your job history, and a lot more. Can you imagine how convincing an AI scam would be with this level of personal information? Delete Me searches the internet for your private data that's being sold, then they delete it. Not just once, they keep doing it. Go to joindeleteme.com/dad. There you can get 20% off a privacy plan when using the code DAD at checkout. Take control of your data and keep it out of the hands of scammers. See why I find Delete Me essential to my privacy at joindeleteme.com/dad and use promo code DAD to get 20% off today. Delete Me is a sponsor of the Secure Dad Podcast. Job hunting is tough enough without fake profiles and scams. Your work history, resume, and qualifications must pique the interest of your potential employer before you ever get an interview. Now job seekers have a new obstacle: fake profiles from scammers looking to steal their personal, sensitive information. Yes, even in the hunt for a new job, you have to be vigilant against scams. So let's take a look at this problem. The vast majority of job seekers today are going online to look for their next opportunity, and this is where things can kind of go off the rails. Scammers create fake job postings and profiles to steal information. We'll go into this a bit more in a moment here, but successful scammers can get vital information like full names, addresses, and even social security numbers. Sometimes they can even convince unknowing people to give up their banking information too. Good people lose thousands of dollars and valuable information all the time. It's very hard to spot these scams, so if you know somebody who has been taken advantage of like this, then don't think they're unintelligent. The typical job seeker is going up against a team of scammers who have streamlined their process. Plus, the hope and excitement of getting a new job can get people to quiet their intuition at the thought of making more money or working for a new company, and honestly, I think we've all been there. So to make things more difficult, these scams occur on major platforms like LinkedIn, Indeed, and Facebook. While you expect to see a scam on like Craigslist, LinkedIn, not so much. These platforms are big operations, and most of us would consider them to be trustworthy. But anytime there is an abundance of user-generated content, that's where a scam can occur. So what's the deal? How do these scams work? Well, scammers will have existing profiles pretending to be a company or a recruiter working for a company. Sometimes the recruiter pretends to work for an agency that is employed by a well-known company like GE, Microsoft, or Amazon. Then other times it's just all fake. It just depends on what the scammers want to do. This means that job seekers will be contacted by a person who seems to be established on the platform and have some sort of credentials. It's not like they're going to get a message from an obvious fake name or from a bot. It's not going to be like that. Scammers can post fake positions to be applied for, but most likely they're going to reach out to a target and make an offer to them to apply for that position that they didn't even know existed. So it seems like a great opportunity right out of the gate, right out of the blue. Sometimes the scammer goes for broke and says something like, "We saw your profile and we thought you'd be a great fit for our company. When can you start?" From there, the scammer uses pressure to get personal information from people quickly. And this is done under the guise of the application or the onboarding process, so it seems like a natural part of the progression of starting a new job. At this stage, the scammer will ask for candidates to fill out an application on a fake website or, unfortunately, just send this information via email or text. This is when they'll go for personal data like a name, address, phone number, social security number, and even driver's license information. They could have you scan a copy of your license and send it to them. They're trying to get as much information from you as they can so that later they can pretend to be you and do it convincingly. Scammers may also say that a credit check is necessary or that applicants will have to pay for their training, so banking information was going to need to be processed. So this is obviously a red flag. On the surface, some of these requests do not seem out of place. It's within the realm of possibility to submit this kind of information during an online job application process, and that's what makes it so hard to spot. So how can we spot these fake profiles? Well, first of all, it's not going to be obvious. The scammer name won't be Jenny Smith 5309. There will be a real name and a picture on the profile. Scammers can take screenshots of real profile pictures, or they can use a variety of AI tools to create fake pictures. It's really going to be hard to tell at this point, and it's not going to be obvious. A good way to spot a fake profile is to look for inconsistencies in work history and education. So this is going to take some research on your part. Does a 20-year-old have a doctorate and 10 years of work experience in this profile? Well, that doesn't make sense, unless it's Doogie Howser. And hopefully you're old enough to understand that reference. Also look at the profile and say, does this person have only 6 months of work history despite looking to be in their 30s? And do they have any big gaps in employment? Then I want you to look at their connections. Look for their previous work experience and see how many connections they have from their last job. If it's 0, that's a red flag. It's a red flag for a lot of reasons, even if it's a legitimate profile. Then click on the connections that they do have and look for similarities like education and job history. If their contacts mirror their profile, that might be an indicator that a scammer has batch created a bunch of fake profiles all at once. For LinkedIn, you can check out the About This Profile feature to verify some of that information that you see. So that's something that LinkedIn has. With AI, it's easy for scammers to create fake profile pictures and write-ups about their fake job histories. In fact, I went to an AI chatbot and I typed in this prompt. I've been in sales for 10 years. Can you write a compelling headline, summary, and work experience for my LinkedIn profile? Now, it came back that it needed more details to really help me, but then it generated responses that were fill in the blank. So this is what it's generated, and I'm going to hit the highlights here. So for a headline, it put strategic sales leader, growing enterprise business in industry blank, passionate about insert specialization. Well, that's pretty good. Another one was client advocate and revenue generator, transforming businesses with innovative solutions. I didn't have to plug in anything there. I could just copy and paste that one right in there. So for a summary, this is what it put. With 10 years of experience exceeding expectations in the blank industry, I have a proven track record of building meaningful relationships and driving revenue growth. I'm passionate about understanding client needs and delivering solutions that make a real impact. In my previous role, I exceeded quota by 20% for 2 consecutive years by fill in the blank achievement highlight. Now I'm looking to fill in the blank career goal. So then it actually gives me work experience. Account executive, company name and date. Increased territory revenue by 30% year over year by implementing a strategic sales plan. Then it says secured 5 new enterprise clients, exceeding quota by 20%. And then finally, achieved a 95% client satisfaction rating, consistently exceeding expectations. Let me tell you, that is a fantastic resume. And it is all fake. So what I would suggest, there's 2 takeaways here. One, you're seeing how AI is going to make it a lot harder for people to spot scams. But also, if you are looking for a new job, I would absolutely go to an AI chatbot and get this kind of a template here that you can go in and fill in your real information here. So big learning thing there from AI. So how do we protect ourselves? I want you to apply for a job that's only on the company website whenever possible. Now, it's okay to use job search sites to find jobs. Just apply for them on the company site. Don't apply for them on like LinkedIn or Indeed or Facebook. Never share personal information with unverified individuals. If a recruiter asks you for information before you have an offer, politely tell them that you're happy to provide that information later because you're cautious about being scammed. Trust me, real recruiters will understand that because recruiters have to deal with this too. They're on the other side of this. They're trying to do their job, and then these fake recruiters, these scammers, are making their jobs harder. Also, legitimate recruiters are not going to ask for your financial details. That's not what they do. They're supposed to get you into the system and move you along. That's it. They don't need your banking information. Of course, you should report any suspicious activity to LinkedIn and to law enforcement. There's a link in the show notes to the FTC fraud reporting website for you in case you do come across something. Be cautious and scrutinize job offers and profiles carefully. And most importantly, trust your gut. Don't be pressured into giving away information. That is a big red flag for any scam. I've actually done a whole lot more work on this than what I've covered here in the podcast. For more, I want you to read my article on this at the link in the show notes. This would be a great thing for you to forward to anybody who's looking for a job, especially first-time job seekers. Well, that's all that I have for the Secure Dad podcast for today. Thank you, friend, for listening. Take back your privacy and personal data with help from Delete Me. Get 20% off a privacy plan when using the code DAD at checkout. Go to joindeleteme.com/dad to get started. Protect your home with FlipLock. Fortify your doors with this easy-to-use secondary lock that activates in less than a second. Listeners can get 20% off their order at fliplock.com when using the code SECUREDAD at checkout. If you'd like to know more about the Secure Dad, join me on Instagram and X. My username for both platforms is TheSecureDad. And of course, my site's available to you 24/7 at thesecuredad.com. I'm Andy Murphy, reminding you that our safety is our own responsibility.